Hello, everyone. This is Cargo, the man in the box, bringing you another rant. Today, I'd like to talk about professional wrestling in general, but mainly the WWE and a certain Raw episode that happened last week that lasted like 3 hours, which featured the King of the Ring tournament, and also they promoted this thing. They promoted the week before. Join us for a 3-hour Raw as we have Barack Obama versus Senator Hillary Clinton in the ring to settle their differences. What? Wait a minute. You're going to do the same thing that you did with Rosie O'Donnell and Donald Trump. Again. This just reeks of a bad idea, and I know what's going to happen. And of course, it ended up being exactly like I pictured it would. And the whole thing was probably conceived by the politicians themselves, because they actually appeared, each of them, pushing their campaigns forth. Which, by the way, was also a big joke. If you were like me, you were probably laughing at this. Because not only were they pushing their message across and trying to do it in a way to make so the teenagers could understand it, but they were quoting stuff about wrestling, and they were mentioning like how Randy Orton was a champion, but they were also quoting wrestler catchphrases from wrestlers that don't even wrestle anymore. If you're going to appeal to wrestling fans of the day, you better be quoting wrestlers that are current if you're going to do this. Instead, they're quoting The Rock and Hulk Hogan. Right. Yes, people older than 20 are going to recognize this, but like I said, when we're watching this, we're laughing at it. It's unintentionally hilarious. For instance, Hillary Clinton was saying, "I'm going to give the people's elbow, and I'm ready to rumble." The people's elbow. And then we had Barack Obama. "Can you smell what Barack is cooking?" Oh my God. And then we had John McCain, who wasn't even in this war of the two politicians, and he was absolute laugh riot. He said, "What you gonna do when my McCainites come?" or whatever. And that moment, I just broke out into an absolute fit of laughter. I couldn't believe what was coming out of these people's mouths. Yeah, I understand what you're trying to do, but it's not working. You're making yourselves look like complete fools. Yeah, and WWE is definitely going after a specific audience. Young teenagers to people who are in their late 20s. But these are people who are usually genuine wrestling fans who want to watch wrestling and not be bombarded with politics, which we don't care about. Now, don't get me wrong, people around this age do care about politics. A lot of us start getting involved in it. But not everyone does. And when we come to a wrestling event, we definitely don't care about the political situation. So why have it? It's obviously to get votes. So, and I honestly don't know how well it worked, because I was just laughing. Anyway, yeah, though, and then they get to the actual match, and it's just like it was before, where they have two people made up to look like them, and it might have been like amateur professional wrestlers dressed up to look like them, but at least it wasn't as sloppy as Rosie O'Donnell and the Donald Trump thing, which was so bad. I mean, I expected people to start throwing shit in the ring when that match was going on. That's how bad it was. And at least it wasn't that bad a match, and it didn't last too long. Thank God they found something to break up the monotony. In comes Umaga, who promptly destroys the two of them. And the audience cheers. Rightly so, because we don't care about these two. We care about the wrestling characters that actually wrestle and can wrestle and everything. We don't care about this stuff. Do I need to say that 15 times for you guys to get it through your heads? We don't care. It's very simple. In another problem I have with this whole thing is it's with WWE and wrestling is it's all about the look. It's all about how a wrestler looks rather than can they actually wrestle and make it look good or not. Because you're supposed to wrestle in a way that makes it look good. It makes us suspend our disbelief. And by the way, let me get into something right now. If you're a wrestling fan and you believe this is real, then you're not a fan, in my opinion. Because you need to, if you're a genuine fan, you understand that this stuff is spectacle. It's all staged, it's choreographed, the outcomes are predetermined. This is not real. Now, the violence is somewhat real because they hit each other, yes. But they hit each other in a way to make it so it doesn't hurt too bad and to not cause injury if they're doing it right. Do they fuck up? Yes. But they go on with the show. And anyway, yeah. So but then they bring in wrestlers that when they wrestle, it looks so bad that it's just you don't want to watch it. And this goes for most of the women wrestlers. Most of the women wrestlers are just women who look good. That's it. That's all they have going for them. And then of course they bring up the matches to basically get all the teenage guys that don't have a girlfriend a freaking boner. That's what they're doing. They have the bra and panties match, the Super Soaker Water Wet and Wild match, pillow fights, mud wrestling. You name the kind of match that basically only the guys that are like don't have a girlfriend and have no like real imagination and have to turn on the TV to get sexual fantasies are watching this for. Look at this is hot. Fat. You know. So yeah, they get these girls that have a specific body type, so the guys go, "Oh my god, she's so hot, I want to bang her." You know? And then they have wrestlers like a big example is the great Khali. And I'm sure that the genuine wrestling fans will agree with me that this guy should not be wrestling. He was an actor in The Longest Yard. How he got to be a wrestler, I'll never know. Because everything he does looks so fakey. And he does the stupidest moves. He puts his hands and pretends to squeeze the guy's head. Oh my god. That may have worked back in the 80s, but it doesn't work anymore. Squeezing a guy in the neck or the head, it doesn't work. The best move he does is the Khali bomb, where he picks the guy up and throws him down. That's the best move he does that doesn't look that bad. Everything else he does is just extremely fakey looking, and he moves even slower than the Big Show does. And at least the Big Show can wrestle to a point. I'm going to have to separate this into two parts because I have a lot to say. So please stay tuned for part 2.